Alrighty, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new review. Today I'll be talking about how I'm down a little bit over $32,000 on the trading day. A trading day which was a bit frustrating because we had a plethora of trades and we had multiple trades which were really nicely in the money. And at moments throughout the day, we were actually green unrealized. But another tough day as price traded inside, and we ended up seeing the session just kind of trade within overnight data. So if you look at the chart real quick, these are kind of the trades that I ended up taking. These are the 4 trades. We end up having a trade here which stopped out, a trade here which initially goes green and in the money, comes back up, we get tagged out break even. Then we end up taking a long here, which ends up being a trade that goes break even. Then we end up having our 4th and final trade here, which is a trade that realizes for red. Mind my hair, I'm a little sick today, so don't look the best. In terms of the first trade, or more so my AM bias coming into the open, my bias coming into the open was bearish because we had seen our weekly low, or you could say yesterday's previous day low, essentially come down here. And we end up seeing price kind of come down here, and we see price take out that previous day low right here, yesterday previous day low. And so from there, once we ended up seeing price kind of come down, take that low out, for me, my conviction after the opening range move was lower because we had seen a bullish or initial move up higher here through price, but then we had seen price come right back down after fulfilling its London high and seeing price move back down. Yeah, obviously in hindsight, the type of day it's been a very inside day. So a day like this, you thrive more so on reversals. I look for a bit more continuation on both sides. I just kind of got bit right. And so yeah, the first trade that we ended up taking today with my conviction, after initially taking out the slow here, you'd be relatively bullish, but the price coming back down here and inverting this 5-minute gap kind of tells you that it most likely wants to come back down. For me, we see price come down here. For me, my conviction, once we ended up seeing the Sun to take it out and showcasing interest in lower by not seeking that reversal yet, my conviction was in lower, right? I didn't want to see price touch this one point here, touch this hourly external low. And this first trade right here specifically was just a bit premature of an entry. I will say, and I said this to my viewers today, my community, I feel like had we waited for a bit more of a retracement, our entry would have been very similar to what it was here. We ended up taking a 1-minute gap rejection. The only entry I feel like you could have taken was maybe this 1-minute gap had an offered potential inversion, which it didn't. But we ended up seeing price come down here, initially go in the money, and then come right back up and stop us out. So at this point, we were at -1. Then we ended up taking a reposition on the chart after seeing price initially retrace, then put it an aggressive high. Again, my conviction was still lower here. I was still very bearish because it's not like we've seen a full-on reversal here in the market. We're still seeing the market operate in the sense that it's still creating lower highs. We're still seeing price be bearish overall. And so for me, we ended up coming back down. This 1-minute gap go invert was my second trade entry. I have place to stop here actually. And the idea behind this was a 1-minute gap go invert, again, playing into that draw conviction. I felt price was still respectable to an extent at this point, and I felt like the draw was clear with the the bias that we had in mind, and the entry model was decent. We take the entry confirmation is at 22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We then see this trade go in the money initially, and at some point in this trade, we were back to green on the day, but then we eventually come back up after taking lows and end up putting a break even on this trade. Now, at this point in time, obviously recognizing price, we had structured out off the low, took in low of day several times, and now we're starting to see a bit of a build up back up. I told my chat, I'm like, okay, despite me being as bearish as I am, if we come back up here and we see a break of structure, and we stop seeing price create lower highs like we've been, I feel it's appropriate to assume and think that we could see a market structure shift reversal inside, and we could see a push back up in price. Now, here's the thing. At this point, we're at a -1R. With this next trade right here specifically, it was a 1-minute bullish fair value gap. I think what I specifically got caught up, obviously hindsight's 2020. I think I got caught up with being a bit too optimistic. I still have to realize that price has not been the best. We haven't been trading at the best state. So for me to assume price could operate or move a certain way, my mindset should be that, right? My mindset should be the simplicity in compounding, right? That should be my focus, compounding. And so like my ambition with this trade right here is, even while the trade was going on, I felt, okay, had price come up here, taking this high of day, taking this Asia high out, I was going to remove my limits and look to ride higher. That's an inappropriate way, not inappropriate way, but that's not a right way to kind of go about the market, or how I usually go about the market, right? I've just been a bit less disciplined, maybe a bit more greedy. I wouldn't say greedy necessarily, but it's just I'm expecting more in price than price is actually offering. If you've seen price consistently through the duration of this year, we've had good weeks, obviously. Like week one this month was phenomenal, a 6R plus week. But ever since then, we've just been seeing price for the most part being consistently inside and trading within its overnight data highs and lows, which is something you don't want to see, see price do if you're looking for continuation. So we end up taking this trade here off of the gap rebounds. We see price come back up here. We see price hit our break even, which was this 5-minute gap BPR fill. We then see price come up, and we see price tag out, or excuse me, tease high of day. What ES ended up doing initially was coming up here and taking its high day. So we had created some bearish SMT, which caused the reversal that we eventually got back down lower here. With NQ, we kind of teased. I felt maybe a bit more appropriate take profit despite anything should have been the high of day, because the high of day, had we taken entry, would have been a 2.4R, right, off this visual. But we don't, excuse me, actually, it would have been a bit less because my stop would have been here. That's what my stop is, a 2R. But I was a bit more optimistic in price than price was itself. And we ended up seeing price just essentially consolidate and come back down, eventually going break even. This trade here was good in my opinion because we had good recognition and good awareness with how the day was trading. I think this trade here was the best setup of the day, this one right here. Because again, we were bearish, we didn't vary our bias, and we were going to flip. This is a pro move here. But I was very amateur-like with everything else today. And this final trade here is exactly that. I was very amateur with this. We ended up seeing price put in a low, tag us out, break even. Then we ended up seeing price come back up here. And for me, I was eager again into that draw, even though price was not trading a good state here. And as you guys know, one of our three components is price action. You can see price clearly in a state of consolidation here. There should be much interest into trading here. And if there is, you've got to make sure the two other components that you have with this trade severely are bullish, right? Because if your third component or one of your three components are not much so strong, and then your other two components are just iffy, you have results like this. You always want to make sure an A+ trade is where you have all three components strongly pointing towards one direction. And so with the entry model of this trade, with the aspect of that, this wasn't the best entry. We ended up seeing this line right here is a 5-minute gap, which went invert, right? A very small 5-minute gap. And then we also had a moment of breaking structure. Now, I'm not going to hate on the confirmation sequence. The one thing I will say with this trade is I felt like price through the confirmation on this trade was good. We ended up seeing price really trade well in the confirmation sequence. But again, that doesn't mean much because the setup was not good. Reason being, price was consistently overall consolidative, right? And when you see price trade at a consolidation like this, and you have that bearish SMT off high of day, it's best to call it. So I feel like, but today specifically, maybe I was trying to do a bit too much. I was trying to maybe make something out of nothing, and it kind of bit me. That's kind of been the theme with me the past couple of days. It's not usually like me, but that's how it's been. Like yesterday we had a phenomenal day. Did exceptionally well, but then today we have a day where it's just annoying as a trader a little bit, right? No matter how experienced you are, you're going to have that slight frustration always. But with this trading day, it's a little annoying because I do close out at -2R on a day where we had multiple trades which realized this or unrealizing we were back on the day, if that makes sense. So it's just a little annoying because we don't end up seeing price seek immense follow through. But I think the great thing I learned off this recap and this review is that just really simplify your process and just have that compound mentality. That's the beauty in the compound approach, which I've been doing for months and years, which has consistently got me over. I think with price just recently not being super aware that price has been more so inside and hasn't been seeking that immense follow through consistently, and the combination of me wanting a bit more through price and follow through, it's caused those combinations of where we've seen more losing trades and we've seen more break even trades than usual the past couple of days. Again, it's only been the past couple of days. Yeah, that's just me being transparent and truth, or saying my truth. And yeah, there's the trading day. Again, at the end of the world, I'm still green on the month, but it's a lot more compound, a lot smaller of a green month now than it was to start the month after the first week. So we gotta see what we're gonna do. Gotta stay the course. I think the adjustment I'm gonna make today is starting tomorrow. I'm gonna more so have the ideology behind price just consistently at a worse state in price, if that makes sense. Like, I'm going to start assuming that price trades worse and worse moving forward and just simplify my approach and just have the approach of just me trying to compound day to day, if that makes sense. That's what I'm trying to do. And just get back to what I was doing. I feel like recently, again, just been a bit more eager with higher targets, higher price targets in price. You see with our sell side here, our buy side here, price clearly just, it's not like price doesn't want to do it, it just doesn't have enough volume, it doesn't have enough strength to get to that. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the day. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the review, and hopefully by the end of the week, we come back and we've killed it. Let's see how we do. Peace out.